What is up, my friends? Shannon here. For those of you who follow my journey, I am back in the US of A, at least till the end of the summer, doing some work with our mental health advocacy work. But I wanted to jump on here real quick. I've had a lot of great conversations. Obviously, you go to Ukraine and you're working with refugee kids, or you're driving food into a war zone. We start asking you questions, and I wanted to jump on here real quick, just talk to my Jesus friends, just for 2 minutes. If you're a Jesus friend, give me 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes. And I want to encourage you with this. As I talk to many friends who have grown up in church or follow Jesus for some of their adult life or whatever, and the theme and the trends of deconstruction. If you don't know what deconstruction is, it's just people questioning their faith, and God's not offended when you question it. God's got broad enough shoulders to handle your hard questions. Can I just make an observation suggestion for you to consider? Maybe I'm absolutely full of crap, and if I am, put it in the comments. I don't mind if people talk crap about me. It wouldn't be the first person. But it is my assumption, opinion, that many people get tired, fatigued in their journey with Jesus because they're just trying wrong. Golf. I love to play golf. I've golfed a lot. I've been golfing since I was like 12 years old. I haven't beat my oldest son Chandler since he was in 8th grade. And that's not just because he's good, it's also because I suck. My philosophy on golf is it's not a sport, because anything that punishes you for effort and adrenaline cannot be a sport. It would make sense that being 6'2", 190-ish, 200 pounds, depending on how many donuts I eat, I would be able to crush a golf ball. But my son, Chandler, who's about the same height now, when he wasn't and weighed 100 and change, could still outdrive me. And it wasn't because he was bigger or stronger. He just knew how to utilize the club the way it was built to be swung. This is my thought for my friends who are deconstructing. I've had some deconstruction seasons in my life. I feel like I've been deconstructing since I constructed, because I questioned and wondered and asked, and God's been so gracious and kind to me through it all. That sometimes we get fatigued in our journey with Jesus because we feel guilty, because we don't feel like we measure up to these given standards wherever they come from, whether it's our assumptions, our observations, or people, or bad teaching. So then we try real hard. We put a lot of effort in. We try to do all the things, cross all T's, dot all the I's, and then we get tired, and then we wave the white flag and we quit. Could it be that we're just trying wrong? Here's what I think is one of the problems. Maybe there's a million problems. Maybe I'm the problem. Who knows? One of the problems I think is this, is that we have come to a point in American Christianity where our faith, or our Christianity, or however you want, whatever title you want to put on it, is, and nobody will say this, but it's measured by our attendance. How much church we go to. And by the way, I love church. I think you should go to church. It's great to have some friends who are trying to do the same things as you're doing. But it can't be the sum total of your Christianity, or it's going to be lifeless and faithless, because that's not what the tool was created for. Jesus didn't come give you his whole life so that you could be a really good student. If that's what it was, then we should all have doctorates, because we've clocked so many freaking hours in church. But you won't find a Christianity, not a Christianity in the Bible, and this is not the one that's taught and motivated in most places. In your church is the exception. I get it, because this is what happens. I say this stuff, and people go, "Well, that's not what I say to my church, or that's not what my church says to other people." But church isn't about you going to sing worship songs or sermons. Being a Christian isn't about you learning a whole bunch more. It's not really about your education. It's not about your knowledge. It's not about, you know what Christianity really is? It's a catalyst to get you to actually practice the ways of Jesus, to actually go and do something in the world that we live in. There is not a biblical Christianity that prioritizes attendance over sacrifice, over self, over others, over receiving, over giving. And the truth of the matter is if we took a journal of how we're living out our Christian life, most of it is about what I'm getting from God. Most of our prayers are about what I'm getting from God. Most of our attendance is about what I'm learning from God. Most of our preferences is about, do I like Maverick City, or do I like Elevation, or do I like Hillsong, or do I like Bethel? Who freaking cares? If that music does not motivate you to get off your ass and go love somebody, to go sacrifice for somebody, to lay down your life for somebody else, to put somebody else first, to literally put yourself in harm's way for somebody else. Now, you may not need to go to Ukraine. Now, but if you want to go, I can get you there. We need drivers. But your neighbor, the elderly person sitting in the coffee shop, somebody needs your ear. Somebody needs your compassion. Somebody needs your hands. The poor person next to you needs your love. That should be the byproduct of all our Christian faith. And here's my assumption. Test me. Find out if I'm wrong. If you would live out your faith not in your attendance or receiving, but you would practice your faith in your giving and loving, I'll bet you'd find a life in Christ that you never found before. Because you'll watch God show up in ways that you never saw him show up before. You'll watch him provide in ways. You'll find out that you're the answer to all the prayers that you're praying, instead of expecting somebody else to be the answer. It doesn't do any good for you to pray for God. Well, that's probably an assumption. I was about to say something that's probably too far. You know how you do when you get passionate? I was going to say, it doesn't do any good for you to pray for Ukraine if you're not willing to do something about it. It's probably good to pray for Ukraine still. But you should still be willing and have a heart to say, hey, God, if you'll make a way, I'll go. Or I'll go and watch you make a way. Or that homeless issue in your community, or the people who are hurting and sad in your community, or the marginalized person who lives in your city, whatever it is. This, I believe, is the essence of following Jesus. Jesus came to you and have life and life to the fullest. I believe you find that when you follow his ways. Anyways, that's my 2 cents. Love you. Make it a great day. Peace.